and welcome to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft, live at Fire Station number 1 on Orchard Lake Road, where so many from throughout our community today will come out to learn more about our West Bloomfield Fire Department, so many other vendors and community organizations and public health organizations across our community, and get critical information that could save your life or really help you prevent some emergencies in your home and across our community. It's a great opportunity to learn and to get to enjoy and see some of the inside things that happen in our fire department and other public safety, and of course get to know your community a little bit better. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break, and on the other side we'll start our conversations with experts from across the community. Chief Greg Flynn will join me next. It's our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm Greg Flynn, the fire chief here in West Bloomfield. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on your 1 million views on YouTube. Together we share the message of community safety and preparedness, making West Bloomfield a safe and wonderful place to live. My name's Greg Flynn, and I'm proud to be 1 in a million.
Hello and welcome to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House from Fire Station number 1 in West Bloomfield. It's a great celebration each and every year of our fire department, our public safety and information community in Greater West Bloomfield, and of course, an important recognition of Fire Prevention Week across West Bloomfield, Keagle Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake. I'm Tyler Kieft, and joining me to kick off our program this year is our fire chief in West Bloomfield and the Tri-Cities, Greg Flynn. Thank you for being with us.
Tyler, good afternoon.
Yeah, happy to have you with us as we begin the celebration here at the fire station, but it's also, as I said, a week of recognition too, as we recognize Fire Prevention Week. So let's just set the scene for people in Greater West Bloomfield. What is this fire open house really all about, beyond, of course, being an opportunity for the community to see our firefighters and our EMTs in action?
This today really underscores that fire is everyone's fight. The firefighters are the ones that are responding to an incident, but what we really want to be focused on is prevention. And that's what we mean by fire is everyone's fight. So everything from being careful with candles around the home to cooking with the pot handles turned in and never leaving unattended pots and cooking services, to just smart ideas like changing your smoke alarms batteries a couple times a year when it's appropriate.
And all of those things are sort of on display today for the community. It'll have examples of what happens when you maybe don't change your smoke detector, with the smokehouse being here, and of course demonstrations of what to look for with some of these different devices that may be in your home and be potentially life-saving. And that's a really important thing, to give people an opportunity to see that in action.
Well, what we're trying to do is put all of those things right out front. As we look around the inside of Fire Station 1 right here, again, we're at 4601 Orchard Lake Road here at Fire Station 1 by the high school. You know, we see our friends from Henry Ford Health across the way that are focusing on injury prevention. Then we see our Parks and Rec and all the activities that they have about getting out and being in motion and overall health. We have, some product being demonstrated with clearing the lint from inside of your dryer, for example. So, and then our team of firefighters are here highlighting our specialty teams, our hazmat response team, our technical rescue team. As you said, the smokehouse is here. And then just the general conversation that goes around with striking up a conversation with one of your firefighters and asking that question about, hey, is I'm not sure how to tell if my fire extinguisher is still good. All of those things we're putting access right at your fingertips here, and we hope that so many people will come out and join us before the kickoff today against the Vikings.
Yeah, and that was part of the whole scheduling of this, was make sure, hey, look, people want to see the Lions play football, but they also want to see their fire department open house and experience that each and every year. And alongside us here at Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM, Chief Greg Flynn with us from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. And when we mentioned a little earlier on some of these demonstrations, I talked about the smokehouse. That's a really great example, especially for the kids, of why they're learning all these different techniques for fire safety, maybe in their school or in their home. And it's a great example too for the adults of just how quick an emergency in the home related to fire can turn into something severe.
Well, Tyler, it's very important to keep in mind that we don't expect these things to happen. Nobody expects to have their house catch on fire, but we have example after example, year after year, where fire does strike. And it's conversations like this where a young boy or girl is going to know when they hear that smoke alarm, because like, that's the sound that I heard when I was at the fire open house. If they need to call 911, they're going to, I did that with the dispatchers at the fire open house, and I practice, and I know I need to give my address, and I know that I need to get out of the house, and I know I need to have a meeting place to go because the fire trucks are going to be pulling up and I don't want to go to the road. These are all little things that maybe just don't seem terribly impactful on a Sunday in October. But at 2 a.m. or at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when tragedy is building and tragedy is about to strike, these are the things that will kick into play, and both young and old. And I want to be focused on that, Tyler, and that's an important message today. We know that fire kills more of our seniors than it does our youth. And that's a statistic here in the state of Michigan. So we know our seniors are at risk, and we want to keep that message. Today is about young and those that have been in our community and are part of our community for many, many years or decades.
And that's an important message too, because when we talk about all these different techniques, we, of course, from the young age, stop, drop, and roll. We talk about replacing your batteries and your smoke detectors and having carbon monoxide alarms in your home in case of those emergencies. And while we don't have a lot of fires that we're responding to on a yearly basis in terms of everything else in comparison that your department responds to in our community, we have seen in those incidents when you are responding, those apparatus that come into place in the home are in fact a huge factor in saving lives.
They are, and we got to keep in mind that many of our seniors have had appliances in their home for decades. They've had things working in their homes for decades, and these start to fail. And those can be the cause and origin of fires. And so keeping the conversation alive, understanding early recognition, where we place our fire extinguishers, and Tyler, it's really important, understanding that when we see smoke, we get out and we call 911. We're so tempted, where's that coming from? Let me go down into the basement, let me see if I can check this out, only to find that the little bit of smoke was coming from the closed door. Once we open that closed door, Tyler, the products of combustion just fill that new open space and will charge that room and will very quickly be overcome by the products of combustion, what we like to call smoke.
Yeah, and all the more reason why people should come out here and see some of those examples of where those fires may begin. Again, I'll go back to the smokehouse. It can just be a small little fire that then grows into something that overtakes the entire room, or it could be something as simple as you're at home after a long day and you're cooking your dinner and things happen in the kitchen. You can see just how they come about and how to solve that issue too. And that's really what's interesting about this event and important about this event, is that you're seeing those different safety tips in action. I'd imagine that makes that a lot more real for people in our community.
Well, it makes it real, and we see year after year as I look around and see kids that I've watched grow up coming to Fire Open House. We've had the opportunity to meet parents that came here as children and still live in West Bloomfield here, and they're like, well, I wanted to bring my kids here because I remember coming to Fire Station 1 when I was a kid and learning about all things public safety. So, and we do have an opportunity here. You can meet with the police department. They have a table here. Alana's Foundation is here with the flu vaccine clinic that's running all day today with the Visiting Nurses Association. So much. And again, Tyler, I love it. And you have a great view here of all the kids that come dressed up as firefighters, girls and boys alike dressed up as firefighters, because they are, the firefighters here in West Bloomfield across this country are held in such high regard. And we are grateful. And it's our opportunity also to say thank you to a community that's very supportive of the WBFD and what we do as part of our community risk reduction and our emergency response here in the Greater West Bloomfield Tri-City area.
And that's support not only from the residents, but also from the local municipalities as well. All 4 communities covered by the fire department, of course, through the Tri-City Fire Board agreement, for Kiko Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake, and then of course the direct funding you're getting from West Bloomfield Township every year. How does that also play into your ability to have something like this where you bring the community out and be able to do the outreach that you do to make fire prevention everyone's fight, not just in October, not just in Fire Prevention Week, but all throughout the calendar year?
Well, we know that the quarterly meetings with the Tri-City Fire Board, what a great group of individuals. I know that your team often is responsible for broadcasting those meetings. That's a great opportunity for us to highlight real time what's going on within each quarter. The township board meetings are a way for us to communicate, but these aren't typically as high visibility viewings that we like to see. There's not the level of interaction that we have here. But all of the fire stations, all 6 fire stations in West Bloomfield and the Tri-Cities are open for tours. So, if you're out and about or you're walking by a station and you knock on the door and want to take a look at the trucks or get a picture on the front bumper or show the kids or your grandkids that are in town visiting, we're very open and willing to open our house, that is your house, to show all of those assets that we have to respond really on your worst day.
And why is that important to have those opportunities for people across all their fire stations?
Well, there's the buy-in from the community to understand that these aren't just things we're doing for ourselves. Everything around this room has a purpose for going out into the community and either reducing risk or addressing the immediate hazards that are presenting to us. In those yellow bags across the bay here to our right are the Mustang suits. Those are specialized ice rescue suits that our team will put on when we have either somebody out on the ice that's struggling, or we know, Tyler, that when there's a pet or wildlife out there and residents are concerned that they're going to eventually go out on that ice and put themselves at risk. So we typically will deploy over with a lot of safety precautions in place, our firefighters out to do that. But everything has a place. The peat zorb in the packets across the way that help to absorb the leaking fluids from automobile accidents, it all has a purpose.
And that purpose is what we're here to help you learn about today at Fire Station Number 1. As you see things along the walls, as you are out and talking to the different vendors and exploring the fire station, you have that opportunity. And of course, we're live today at Fire Station Number 1 on this Sunday as this is happening, but you may be watching this a week or 2 weeks or a year down the road and want to learn more about your local fire station here in West Bloomfield. You got the opportunity to do that. Just contact the fire department, and you can always follow them on their Facebook page as well at WB Fire Department. Chief, before I let you go, you mentioned earlier on having all these different community partners here, from Parks and the Police Department, Henry Ford Health, Alana's Foundation. Why is that also important to bring into today? It's about fire prevention, it's about your fire department, but you're bringing in things that are maybe directly connected or a few degrees of separation outside of firefighting.
It really does underscore that message of it is everyone's fight. And when we have our friend of youth, the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield here, and their members are continuing that message forward in subtle ways, whether it's, again, reinforcing what Henry Ford Health is talking about, wearing helmets. All of us can weave that thread of fire prevention through the conversations that we have with our different community groups. And the FD is a great place to bring all of them together as we wrap our arms around the community and say, safety is our priority. That's what community comes together for, is to provide safety and a safety network. And we're really celebrating that here today.
Fire Station Number 1 in West Bloomfield is the location. If you're watching or listening to this live, up until 3 o'clock today, and of course, if you're after Sunday at 3 o'clock on this day, you can always find out more information on the fire department by following them on Facebook at WB Fire Department. Chief, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We are going to take a break. Plenty of more live coverage from Fire Station Number 1. We'll talk to some more of the vendors, get a little bit of more information on your local fire department, and explore safety across all 4 of our communities. Stay with us for our live coverage right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Bringing you stories and memories from West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft, joined now by Officer Zena Daly, the Community Relations Officer for the West Bloomfield Police Department. Now we're at a fire department event, but the police and the fire department work very closely with one another each and every day. Speak to that partnership and how important it is for you to do your job as an officer in our four communities.
There are so many times we get sent to a call before the fire department comes out, and we have to assess what's going on, what is needed, if medical attention is needed. Sometimes instead of our dispatch sending them right away, we're the one to say, hey, we need their help, like we need them out here. And we basically describe what we have, just based on what we see, what we're being told, and relay that to them, and then they come out. Sometimes people want the fire department there, sometimes they don't because they don't think they need it, but our partnership is fantastic because we make sure that we are both there, and then they can decide, like, hey, something is needed. We really do have to do something here, even though you don't think you necessarily need it. And then usually we collaborate, and we can hopefully, I don't want to say convince, but, you know, show the residents why they do need to follow their procedures, whether it's going to the hospital, just getting checked out, because sometimes they just don't want that, you know?
Yeah, and I'd imagine for you as an officer who was out on patrol on midnights before this new role of yours, that having that opportunity to communicate with the fire department and collaborate with them on some of these responses, which will vary throughout any given shift, really is an important added asset to our police and our other public safety, because you never know really what you're walking into when you go on that call.
Right, and it's nice because we work together so much that we have each other's back. Sometimes we just need them, even for us, you know, for our sake, and they need us in the same way. Sometimes they'll get sent before we do because it's just the medical and police is not needed, but they'll be like, hey, there's something going on that we just need more hands and we need some bodies here, and that's where we come into play.
Zena Daly with us, the Community Relations Officer for the West Bloomfield Police Department, live from Fire Station number 1 for the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House. And Officer Daly, there's a lot that you're doing here also today, not just to collaborate with the fire department and to celebrate the great work that they're doing in our community, but to let the community get to know our police as well. Let us know some of what you're doing currently to do that outreach that's such a critical part of your new role.
I mean, it starts with the kids, right? There's so many kids that come to this event, which is so amazing, and they get to see us in a different capacity than us coming out to their house because there's an emergency, somebody needs help, there's an argument going on and we're there to diffuse it. They see us in a whole, in just a different light, just like we see the community in a different light, from when we go to runs, from when we're being dispatched to just seeing the people in the community out and about. You see everyone differently.
And take us through your new role too, because now you are kind of that first face they see at these events when they're outside of an emergency and they're seeing our police department. 9 times out of 10, it's you. What's that experience been like for you so far?
It's such a change, and honestly, I love it. I like getting to know so many people in the community, seeing so many faces. I have been to so many events in the last 2 months that I've been in this role, and it really is just, it's so fun to see people, coming to all the parks events and the fire department, coming to the police department and saying, hey, I just want to show my daughter wants to take a look around. We've had that happen recently. So it's exciting to see the community in a different way. And for them to see us and know that, hey, they don't just come to our house in an emergency. When I was young, it was, the safe person is a police officer. They're kind, and sometimes they don't see that when you're responding necessarily to their house because they're in a panic, right? And even the kids are when they see us. And this is just such a different environment that they get to see us in, and I get to see them in as well.
And that only makes it easier for the community to interact with our police department too, because now they kind of know the officers, or they know some of the people behind the scenes that are kind of leading the charge each and every day in our community. And I'd imagine for the police department, especially given the times that we're in, that's a really important factor for somebody, especially those officers that are out on patrol 24 hours a day.
Right. I would agree. I mean, there's so many times that we are engaging with the public, and it seems so negative, especially like you said, this day and age, but There are so many good officers. West Bloomfield is a great department. It's a great department to work for, great community. They love their police department, and we love them just as well. And we just want them to know that and see that.
In your new position as the community relations officer, so far you mentioned you've been all over the community, all these different events, meeting all these different people. It's a completely different change, a huge shift change from where you were on midnights every night. What's been your favorite part about this new position and role you have with our police department?
Honestly, it's the events. So far I've engaged with kids. I mean, it's just in the elementary schools. I've been getting to go to something I just haven't had to do. And my family actually just showed up, and they have never seen me at work. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and my oldest is 13 years old. Probably the first time they've actually seen me here, because I've been on nights my entire career. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. They get to see mom at work.
Yep.
They get to see mom a lot more often, I'd imagine,
They do.
too. Off of those midnight shifts. Officer Daly, anything else for us today?
Nope, that's all. Just come on out. I mean, this is a good time. We're here till 3 o'clock, and we'd love to see everyone come out and engage.
And that's for everyone that's watching or listening to this live on Civic Center TV. The West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House now until 3 p.m. on the day of this live broadcast on this Sunday. But if you're watching us later on, if it isn't, in fact, on this very day, on Sunday, October 13th, then you can always learn more information about the police department on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD, on their Instagram at West Bloomfield PD, or by just talking to your officers out in the community. Officer Daly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll take a break from Fire Station number 1. Plenty more of our live coverage coming up. It is the Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft, joined by Nicole Papelian from Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, one of the many vendors that is here today presenting to our community and providing really critical information on their safety and in particular their health. Let us know a little bit about what you are giving out to the community today, what information they can learn from you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity also to share. I work in prevention, so we as a hospital, we have a stake in keeping the community safe also. So there's a risk reduction program that I coordinate. It's called injury prevention, trauma prevention, and what I'm doing is sharing a variety of why people come to the hospital prevention tools. So car seats, bike helmets, fall prevention, resources for home safety, all the things that we can do to help lower that risk and help to keep people safe in their homes and in their communities.
And it's important that people understand some of those risk factors that are common in our community so that they can get out ahead of them. How do you go about that? Because there is such a wide variety of population demographics in our community. There's young, there's old, there's families, there's individuals. So how do you balance that as a hospital system?
Oh, thank you. That's a great question because it is a wide net. I like to focus on seasonal. So if we're working with a variety of the ages, depends on what the population is. Like today, it's a younger crowd, but I have some teen driver safety coming up because later this month is Teen Driver Safety Week. So we're looking at that season. We're looking at Halloween injury prevention, as well as going into winter, we always do senior fall safety, home safety, and prevention tools around that. But for the kiddos, it varies by the season, I would say. And then having a lot of education. As you might see at our table, there are probably 9 different things I have on the table from displays about fitting your bike helmet properly to a couple car seats that we show the span and the range, because it's always specific to the child. But with our older adult population, it is definitely in the home and being more mindful and how do we get ahead of and be proactive around the fall prevention.
And having those tools, as you said, that was the key word, is having the tools in place to understand what you can do to help with this prevention. So then, as you're talking with these individuals about these different steps that they can take. How do you take that from being simple advice to ultimately getting them to take that action so that hopefully they don't have to go see the friendly people over at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital?
Well, we, as nurses, know that you can't make anyone do anything,
Yeah.
and we do community education with the effort and with the intention to make people aware of something maybe they didn't know before, and then we hope and we ask people, just be mindful. Hey, if you know better, maybe you do better, So just give them the tools, give them resources, inspire people maybe to make a different change of a different decision or to make a choice that will keep them safer. And then they have a tool they didn't have perhaps before I met them.
Nicole, while I reset with you, I'm just going to move your microphone over a little bit and a little bit closer to you. We've got a lot of background noise over here. We want to make sure we're hearing you as clearly as possible. Nicole Papelian is with us, a nurse from Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, who is also their coordinator of injury prevention and in their trauma department too. And coordinating with the fire department, I'd imagine, also a critical part of your job and your department's job, because I know from my experience here just a little over a year ago, being part of an emergency response from this fire department and going to Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, that timing of the coordination with EMS to getting them into your emergency room can be the difference between life and death.
It can be. It's critical in the community to have your safety personnel, of course, and then we're waiting at the hospital. But we also want to think about the people maybe that fall down and they don't have to come to the hospital. And then because of that incident, they learned, perhaps let's remove the rug from the living room or tape it down, or let's make sure that there's a handrail where there was not before, to keep them maybe learning from the incident also. But the fire department's so great to help educate the community too, and people will take advice from your firefighter or EMS that comes into the home also, so they'll leave some maybe educational material. We do the best that we can to manage all of the needs in the community at the hospital. We really, really do. But if we can get ahead of some things, like you said, then lower that risk. It's important.
And it's great to have an opportunity like this at the fire station number 1 for the fire department open house, to have that face-to-face opportunity with people in the community and to have that visibility out in the community. But outside of something like this, what are some other ways that Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital does that outreach to ultimately bring forth the education for prevention throughout the rest of the year?
Oh, we have initiatives around, they're usually pretty scary subjects, of course. We do talk about, domestic violence prevention. We have the silent witness ceremony that's coming up later this month. We do a lot of different kinds of recovery, of course, whether behavioral, mental, but physical as well. There are physical therapy and rehab and so many ways. Just, for example, the fire link with our fire department is car seats. So we're coming into the winter season. We want to do hands-on fittings for car seats, but it's really hard to do that out in the snow. So our wonderful fire department allows us to do that in their bay, so we can be inside and make sure kids are safe when the roads are slippery. Especially, we want their car seat safe. So it's a great community partner. Yes, this is a terrific event.
More information on henryford.com to get in contact with officials at Henry Ford Health, especially at their Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. And of course, you can always come right on out today, Sunday, October 13th, noon until 3 p.m. is the time for the live event here at Fire Station number 1, just north of West Bloomfield High School on Orchard Lake Road, with parking at the high school. But if you're watching afterward, you'll be able to see all these different conversations we've had on our website on civiccentertv.com, and you can get in contact with Nicole Papelian and the team at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital on henryford.com. Nicole, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you as well. We are at Fire Station number 1 in West Bloomfield. Our live coverage continues just shortly from Fire Station number 1, the Fire Department Open House, live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, I'm Lauren Azuri, the Park Naturalist Supervisor for West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations to you, Civic Center TV, for hitting 1 million views on YouTube. We really appreciate your partnership in spreading nature education in a creative way in our community. I'm Lauren Azuri, proud to be 1 in a million.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft, thanking you for being with us. Noon to 3 today at Fire Station number 1, Sunday, October 13th. Now we know some of you will be watching this later on or listening to these segments at another time. If you aren't able to come on out, you can always keep up to date with our fire department on Facebook at WB Fire Department. One of the many vendors here at the Fire Department Open House today is Alana's Foundation, an organization founded right here in West Bloomfield to help prevent to help prevent people from getting the flu and, of course, from having any complications from influenza. Joining me now from Fire Station number 1, from Alana's Foundation, is Zachary Yaxis. Zach, thanks for being with us today as you help people get vaccinated this time of the year, and it's something that maybe is a little easier said than done. People, even in 2024, after all we've been through in recent years, still need a little bit of convincing, it seems, to get those vaccinations.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for having me. I'm not quite sure why that is. I believe it's a little bit of vaccine overload. You know, all we've heard the last couple of years is vaccine. And the other thing is the flu hasn't really been in the news that much because COVID kind of overshadowed it. Yeah. You know, go to the doctor, they don't even test for it that much. So it's kind of, as humans, out of sight, out of mind. You don't hear about it, you don't think about it, but it is very important to get vaccinated. It's an annual thing, so it's important to get yourself vaccinated, protect your family and those around you.
And so how does Alana's Foundation come into play with that in our communities and in nearby areas too?
Yeah, so the foundation was formed in memory of my daughter who passed away from the flu. But two of the biggest barriers that why people don't get vaccinated is convenience and affordability. So we try to bridge that gap, and we create clinics around the area, such as this, schools, churches, workplaces, bring the vaccine to the community. And then for those who don't have insurance, if they don't have insurance that covers it, the foundation covers the cost of that. So it's convenient. You know, you can bring a family here today, get your entire family vaccinated, avoid doctor's visit. You know, some people have multiple children, different ages. You got to make multiple appointments, so you can do it all at one time.
And you give all that information out on your website too, alanasfoundation.org,
yes,
where people can get information about where these clinics are happening, not just the Fire Station number 1, but even earlier on, recently, here in early October, you were at the West Bloomfield Town Hall. You'll be at many of these other places throughout our community coming up too. And so it gives people a really easy opportunity to learn more also about the vaccine, because education in this, I would imagine, plays a huge factor in getting people to really be convinced that this is something that can save their lives or the lives of their children.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that was the main reason why the foundation was founded, was educating people. When my daughter passed away from the flu, I had no idea that the flu people died from the flu. My daughter wasn't vaccinated at the time, not because we were against vaccines. At the time, she didn't fall within the age recommendation that our doctor never told us. So when it happened to my family, I said, I want to tell everybody else, you know, to prevent this from happening to another one. So Alana's story is really what I have to emphasize that point, that Alana was a young, healthy girl. It can happen to anybody. It doesn't discriminate, age, race, gender. The flu can attack anybody. And, you know, every year, people may not realize almost 60,000 people die from the flu every single year. So it's important.
We talk so often about how much you're helping to teach the community about the flu, but over these years that you and your wife and your family have been running Alana's Foundation, what have you learned through this process about helping the community, about running a foundation, about doing things that help other people help themselves?
I mean, it's satisfying, right? It's it's twofold for me. It's keeping my daughter's legacy alive. It's making something positive out of a tragedy. But I have, at these events that I attend, I have families that come up to me and thank me that, you know, for providing the service, that if I didn't provide it, they wouldn't get it. I have others that have told me that when they've heard the story, they change their mind that they never would have gotten it until they heard the story. So to me, I can go to bed at night. It's hard to put a tangible number on it, how many lives I've saved, but I truly believe that by getting one more person vaccinated, it protects, multiple people. It's herd immunity in the community, and it's a positive thing, and we need to help each other as a community.
More information on Alana's Foundation can be found on alanasfoundation.org. Zachary Oxich is with us from Alana's Foundation as they are providing those free flu shots today at Fire Station number 1. And of course, again, if you're watching this after Sunday, October 13th, where this open house is happening from 12 noon to 3 p.m., more information can be found on their website on alanasfoundation.org. But it's not just your organization getting out and providing these flu shots, providing this education that can help in this fight against influenza. How can the community continue to help your organization and others like you help their neighbors, their friends, and their family prevent the flu?
Yeah, well, we are a nonprofit, so we rely solely on donations for our organization to run. So you can always donate to our organization. You can find a link on our website. If you know of, in your workplace, a school or church, if you guys have a place where you want to hold a clinic, you can reach out again through our website, and we can coordinate that and help, vaccinate and protect the community.
More information, alanasfoundation.org. Zach, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Zachary Oxich from Alana's Foundation with us at Fire Station number 1. We got plenty more coming up on our live coverage of the Fire Department Open House. Stay with us on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Bringing you stories and memories from Orchard Lake. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft at Fire Station number 1, which is the scene for this year's event, as it is every year, as we bring all different areas of our community, all different organizations, and of course, you and yours from across West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake to meet the fire department and so many others whose partnership plays a key role in their fire prevention and their safety education in our community. One of the people that is playing a role in that partnership is Deb Macon from our West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. Deb, thank you for being with us.
Well, Tyler, it is a pleasure. I so look forward to being part of the annual Fire Open House.
I'll have you scoot in just a little bit, get you closer to that microphone, because we got so much going on in the background over here. It's an exciting day at Fire Station number 1. But this, as I said, partnership is really the key word at this event today and at this gathering every single year. As Chief Flynn said it, they can't do this alone. Fire is everybody's fight, and for our cable commission, this really goes back to the main mission, which is providing public information to the community, and that critical information from their departments like their police and fire.
You know what? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I was another of the commissioners, Phil Ross, and I were just chatting with Deputy Police Chief Young about safety in general and realizing that all of us need to be connected and on message, on the same message, and partnering with Civic Center TV here in this setting is just perfect. As I look around the fire station, I see the community groups that I would have expected to be here, and then some additional ones too, as our network is starting to expand even more.
And that's what's really important too, is because from the outside looking in, you see these 4 communities of varying size. You don't really know how much 4 of these communities can connect to one another. They have their own little cultures, they have their own little corners where they connect with each other, but the one thing that does connect all 4 of our communities is the West Bloomfield Fire Department.
Absolutely. Oh my, absolutely. As a matter of fact, when I came here, I rode on the shuttle with the mayor of Kegel Harbor. I look around, I see residents from all of the communities and organizations from there as well. And the thread that runs through is our fabulous West Bloomfield Fire Department.
And they serve West Bloomfield Township, of course, but through the Tri-City Fire Board agreement, they're also serving all of the Tri-Cities through the Tri-City Fire Department. Really mirrors what your team at the Cable Commission has been doing for decades here in our community. Bring these four communities together to provide critical public information, access to government information too, and any way that you can bring these communities together is important, especially when it comes to information of public health and public safety.
Absolutely. I'm still motivated by some of the emergency situations we've had in the community, wanting everyone to be prepared, to have the information they need, and we see our channels, Channel 15, WBLD here, being just so critical in all of that. And this is an opportunity for me to say, and thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate it.
And thank you to all of the CCT crew for your critical role. This is a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. And to look around to see the amount of support that is here and the connections being made all across our region is just phenomenal.
And it is always going to be a team effort from our side. Calvin Brown back at the studio, our producer today, and Jake Schaff from our team out and about for, of course, the Splash Live. But as much as we're here for the entertainment of the community and that basic everyday what's going on around the community information, arguably the most important role that we have at Civic Center TV and via the Cable Commission in our four communities is hopefully a mission we never have to fulfill, which is providing information in the event of a major emergency. How does that also factor into the work that the Commission does on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis to make sure that if and when an emergency like that happens, we are on the forefront and ready to be there for our four communities?
And you know, as a matter of fact, when I came over to have a conversation with you, Cable Commissioner Phil Ross was just taking Deputy Police Chief Young on a tour outside to look at the towers, to be able to make those connections. Thank you again for your role in making all of this happen, Tyler.
Well, those towers play a huge role in this also. They help us stay on the air. Of course, we partner with the fire department for our transmitter for the radio station and for some of our internet connection that makes broadcasts like this possible, our West Bloomfield football coverage possible, and so many other things across our community. But Debbie, it also ultimately comes back to partnership and to bring the community together in any way that we possibly can. And getting involved is a huge part of that. I talked about that with Zachary Oksich from Alana's Foundation. How can people take this to the next step from information to action? And that's something you're very familiar with.
Well, you know what, Tyler, thank you for that. As a matter of fact, we're beginning a brand new initiative at the Cable Commission that is going to involve the opportunity for people who live within the township to be active. We're forming a new group, a new nonprofit, Friends of Civic Center TV, and that is going to be all about helping to engage more and more people. Please reach out. You can look us up, civiccentertv.com.
That's correct.
And gwbcable.org. We never turn down an opportunity to offer room for connections and getting to know new people.
More information, of course, again, civiccentertv.com. Also the place you can find all of our segments from today's broadcast at the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House. All of those municipal meetings, and of course, keep up to date on everything happening across our 4 communities. Deb Macon with us from the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. Anything else before we let you get back to it and all the fun here at Fire Station number 1?
You know, again, it's a pleasure to be here, and someone asked how many of these I've attended, and I go back to when I first moved here in the township a bit over 40 years ago. So this is something that my family and I look forward to.
I can put down a little bit less than that, about 24 years of this. I remember coming as a very young kid to Fire Station number 1 for this, also growing up in the Greater West Bloomfield area. It is always a fun time, and Deb, always fun talking with you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tyler.
We will take a break from Fire Station number 1, the Fire Department Open House on this Sunday, October 13th. We are live here, noon to 3 p.m. is the event today, but if you're watching later on, you're just seeing this, you're bummed out, you can come back in 2025, and of course, always keep up to date with the West Bloomfield Fire Department on WB Fire Department on Facebook, and of course on WBTownship.org. We are live from the Fire Department Open House. We'll be back in a few on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
Welcome back to our live coverage from Fire Station number 1. It is the Fire Department Open House for 2024. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Byron Turnquist inside Fire Station number 1, where all the action is happening on Orchard Lake Road today. Of course, if you're watching us, listening to us on Sunday, October 13th, you can park at West Bloomfield High School and take a shuttle on over. If you're watching or listening to us afterwards, the event is over, but you can always keep up to date on the West Bloomfield Fire Department on Facebook at WB Fire Department for more information. Joining us now, West Bloomfield Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist, and this is a big event for your department within the department, because prevention is the name of the game today, and that really is the most important thing that individuals in our community can focus on day by day to help make sure that they never have to have that one-on-one interaction with the fire department unless they're coming out here on a day like today.
Yeah, we'd love to see everybody at a special event like today. We do make house calls if we need to, but it is much better to come out today and see what your fire department does. And we do a lot more than just respond to medical emergencies and fire emergencies throughout the township. So it's good to see some of the technical rescue equipment, some of the hazmat equipment, along with just the general safety stuff that we do talk about and try to let everybody know about year-round.
That's what I find most interesting about being out here year in and year out, is that you do kind of see the variety of expertise that goes into being a firefighter in West Bloomfield or really anywhere else. It's not just simply going out to fight a fire in somebody's home or responding to an emergency call. There's a lot of different skills that come into play to be a firefighter, and it's great to have those on display, but it's also great to understand how they can actually be helpful in our community in the event of a variety of different emergencies.
Yeah, a lot of our firefighters are trained in technical rescue, and I mentioned the hazmat, but the technical rescue aspect, whether it's a high angle, if somebody gets hurt while trimming trees or on the roof of a structure, we're equipped to safely get them down and transport them to the hospital. Or if there's a contractor working in the area, there's a lot of road construction and sewer work and water main work. So that if the emergency happens underground or in a trench, we're equipped to perform a rescue there as well.
And that's where your department comes into play really often in the fire marshal's department, and deputy fire marshals and inspectors that are going out to help look into these sorts of things before these developments come up, before changes are made to stores or to homes or to business fronts in our community. Take us through the role that plays also in prevention, because there are a lot of changes happening across all 4 of our communities at this time.
Yeah, so most of the time when a developer approaches a community for a development project, whether it be for condominium development or an apartment building or a shopping center, there's meetings within the township that the fire marshal gets involved in, and we're talking safety and emergency preparedness right from the get-go. We do plan reviews for the site plans to make sure fire hydrants are in the proper location. We're looking to make sure our fire trucks can get in and out of the neighborhood or a shopping center, and we're making sure that we've got a clear path so that we can maneuver around the site. Early on, we're looking at that structure and trying to prepare for an emergency, how we're going to attack a fire in that building. Can we? We got to make sure that our trucks can get there and bring the equipment on site and tackle whatever task we're met with.
And that's something that people on average probably aren't thinking about when they hear the good news about a new restaurant moving in or a massive development's coming in. It's going to bring a lot of new neighbors or excitement to the community. They're thinking about the end result, but so much goes into that to not only make it a fun place to live, a great place to work, and an interesting place to do business, but also to make sure that it's safe along all those times as well. Byron Turnquist is with us, West Bloomfield Fire Marshal at today's West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House. Come on out and join us, Fire Station number 1, if you're watching or if you're listening on Sunday, October 13th. Other than that, you'll find all this information and helpful tips from the fire department on their Facebook page at WB Fire Department each and every day. And Byron, a lot of what we're focused on here today is Fire Prevention Week, and that's those basic tips that really help families around their home each and every day. And those do play, I talked to Chief Flynn earlier on, they play a really critical role in some of these preventative efforts, but also making it easier for when your firefighters go out there and are responding to a rescue, they can do their job and save those lives.
Yeah, again, we focus on prevention, and Fire Prevention Week is a national week right now. And one of the main topics is smoke alarms. So far in the state of Michigan, we've had 73 people lose their lives in fires. We want to make that number even smaller. It's come down over the last couple of years, but we want to make that number even smaller. And the best way to do that is to make sure that everybody has working smoke alarms throughout their home. You should have one in every bedroom, one outside of your sleeping area, and one on every level of your home. And nowadays the technology has gotten better. You can buy it. You can buy smoke alarms that have a 10-year battery. So we're kind of getting away from the old, when you change your clocks, change your smoke alarm batteries. But you want to update those smoke alarms. If your smoke alarm's more than 10 years old, it needs to be replaced. They just don't work as well. You'll get more false alarms, and in the event of a fire, that sensor might not work right, and you might not get A alarms. So the smoke alarms are huge, very important safety feature to have in your home to give you that early warning so that you can get out in the event of a fire.
And having those updated technologies in your home can be really helpful. Not only it helps prevent the need to switch out those batteries very often, but that technology, the accuracy of those is really, really critical, especially because we know that nowadays when there is a fire in the home, it can be even more dangerous than it's been in years past. You'd think it would be the opposite, but in fact it is that if a fire erupts in your home today, you have a very limited amount of time to make a response.
Yeah, there's more plastic materials in our homes than ever before, more other synthetic materials, and those items burn a lot faster. They create more smoke, which makes it hard to, it depletes the oxygen in the home, so there's no clean air to breathe. So you want to get as low to the ground as possible to find that clear air. But that fire doubles in size much more quickly than it ever used to, and really has limited the amount of time that you have to get out. It's very important that your family practices your smoke alarms or your fire alarm drills. Pick a meeting spot outside of the home so that when everybody gets out, everybody goes to the same spot. So then when we arrive, you can let the firefighters know, yep, my whole family's out, we're all at our safe meeting spot, or no, somebody's missing, somebody hasn't made it out, and then you could let the fire department know, where that individual should be, and that's where we're going to focus our rescue efforts immediately to try to get them out safely.
And families will have those conversations, or teachers and their students will have those conversations, or roommates we'll have those conversations about if an emergency breaks out, this is what we're going to do in this case, that case, or the other. But you said the word plan, and ultimately there are plans and then there are good plans. What makes up a good plan?
Well, by picking that meeting spot, that's the first step. Knowing that, or practicing and figuring out that you have 2 ways out of every room in your house is another important thing. We talk about practice, and you'll watch the fire department and you'll see us out practicing. Every day we go out and practice, we train. Develop your plan, practice it, see how your family reacts, find out if it worked well or if it didn't work well, and then make adjustments so that that works every time. You want to make sure that your family, your kids, everybody gets it right every time. It's so important to be able to get out safely and quickly and get away from a house that's on fire.
Now your home may not change, but life changes, circumstances changes, and people's behavior may change. How often should those plans be practiced?
Well, you should test your smoke alarms at least once a month. And it's probably a great idea to do a fire drill once a month, maybe a little bit overdoing it. But in the beginning, do it frequently. And then when you get it down to where it's good and you're comfortable and you know that it works, then back it down and do it every month or every couple of months just to make sure that you're still fresh. And again, like you mentioned, things haven't changed in the house. If you get new windows, do they open the same way so your children know how to open the windows? Things like that.
And for more insight on these things, people can talk to you and to your fire department here, the West Bloomfield Fire Department, at their fire department open house, and of course, always in communication with you on social media at WB Fire Department on Facebook. If people want to get more information on this, they really want to make a great plan, they want to look over things and make sure that what they're coming up with is the right scenarios for their home, for their family dynamic. How can the fire department then help them beyond the making of their plan themselves to turn that into the best possible outcome should they ever be faced with an emergency?
Yeah, there's material on the Facebook page, or the NFPA has material available that you can download, and it's simple things. It's a little fancy piece of graph paper with some notes which will give you some pointers on what to think about while you're making that plan. And that's a good place to start. Sit down, draw out that family escape plan. Know that figure out 2 ways out of every room in your house, so that you're prepared, whether that means getting a fire escape ladder or having materials available for keeping smoke from coming through your bedroom door. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is everybody should be sleeping with their bedroom doors closed at night. That's the first barrier between you and the fire. That simple bedroom door will keep smoke out and give you a lot more time in the event of a fire. If the fire's in a place where you can't get out, you keep that bedroom door closed and you can open your window, use an escape ladder, or if that ladder's not available, you can get fresh air from having that open window, and you can be calling for help, and we will throw a ladder up as soon as we get there and get you down. But that door will give you time by keeping that smoke and heat away from you.
And we talk about that this time of the year too. You mentioned heat because we're here at Fire Station number 1. It's a beautiful fall day in October in Greater West Bloomfield. We're feeling cozy here, but people may be in their homes, feel a little bit cool, maybe not want to turn on their heating system yet and up their bill just yet, so they'll bring out a space heater, and that, it can be helpful in a moment, but if you use it incorrectly, all of a sudden that escape plan is going to be coming into play.
You're going to need it, right. So anytime you use a portable heating device, a space heater, you want to make sure you use it per the manufacturer's recommendations. You should never plug it into an extension cord, never plug it into a 6-plug power outlet. It needs to be plugged directly into the wall. And you want to make sure that it's got good separation, probably about 3 feet from anything that's combustible. And another thing that you want to make sure when you're buying one is make sure, and it usually says it on the packaging, that it has tip protection. So if it accidentally gets knocked over, it automatically shuts off. So that way if it falls on the carpet or falls on an area rug, it doesn't start to burn that, it will shut off. And then the other most important thing is only use it while you're home and in that room. If you go to the other side of the house, turn it off. Don't leave it heating unattended.
More information on Facebook at WB Fire Department, or come on out to Fire Station number 1 for the West Bloomfield Fire Department open house on this Sunday, the 13th of October, up until 3 o'clock. That's on Orchard Lake Road, parking at West Bloomfield High School. Otherwise, if you're tuned in after Sunday, October 13th, between noon and 3 p.m., on our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, or you can find more information from the fire department directly on their Facebook at WB Fire Department. Byron, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's great to see you again, and thanks for coming out and spending the day with us.
Always glad to be out here at Fire Station number 1. Our coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department open house continues after this on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department open house, live from Fire Station number 1 on Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for being with us. If you're looking to come out to this event, Sunday, October 13th, up until 3 p.m. with parking over at West Bloomfield High School and a free shuttle that will bring you to the fire station. If you're watching or listening afterwards, unfortunately you're out of luck for this year, but you'll find information on the next open house on facebook.com/WB Fire Department. Joining me now is a man who's very involved in our 4 communities, Bill Bertakis from both the Kegel Harbor and the West Bloomfield Optimists Clubs, and they're both present here today as they provide information to the public on how they're helping the kids. But, what is the day-to-day like? Let's start off in Kegel Harbor with your efforts to help kids that are in the heart of the lakes.
Okay, so first of all, we're not a chamber, although everybody in the club is a business owner. But we do things for kids. We just had board meetings. We're having monthly euchre tournaments. The next one's October 22nd at Gino's. It starts at 6 p.m. If you go on So Kegel, you'll see a flyer to contact Mike, or you can show up. And that's been pretty well. And man, we got great door prizes. I think Jax gave us 20 car washes inside and out. And that's just the tip of the iceberg besides the restaurants. So we got great door prizes. There's cash prizes. And we just had a meeting, our Santa party for the Optus Club, where we get kids from the school. We got that date down, and that's a private invitation. Now, one thing big, our biggest event, we have pumpkin decorating at this year. It'll be Chico, and we made some adjustments because I wasn't aware that Chico turned elementary. Yeah. It makes sense. You got that new middle school, so we have Chico, Scotch, and Gretzko, and we reserve 200 pumpkins. We bring all the decorations, all the supplies you need. We got Monster Mash playing on the PA. We got puzzles that you can take home. So that's the 26th Saturday between 9 or 10 and noon. And then at noon at City Hall, they're having get your costume on and I call it junk in the trunk, treat in the trunk or something like that. Trick or treat. All right. So that's going on, and so we got pretty busy there, and Gino had a golf outing. He gave us the proceeds, and $3,000 goes a long way in our club, I'll tell you. And what else too? A lot of the school people have been involved. So the superintendent, Rebecca, the marketing person, she calls herself public relations. The middle school assistant principal. So when we get that essay, we got somebody in there to help us. Yeah. And of course we included St. Mary's and Refuge. And we still give our scholarships and stuff. So we're doing well. I'm happy. And one of the things Mike always told me, why you stick with this? You've been in 19 years. I go, because I'm making a difference. If I wasn't making a difference, I would have left. So I'm not going to leave the kids.
Yeah, and it's a great way to get involved too, because there's so much that you do between these two clubs, and it's interesting because you are a critical member of the Kegel Harbor Club, but you also involve yourself in West Bloomfield too, and it gives a full scope of what our kids need in our classrooms and outside. And this time of the year, you talk about some of the holiday events coming up, not just for Halloween, but also around the Christmas holiday and then other December holidays. That's a really important time of the year for our families, where those that need the help maybe are not going to be asking for it, and having the club intervention from our optimists really does make the holiday for them.
Yeah, I've talked to some single parents, and they said, Bill, you have no idea how much pressure you took off me. Yeah. It's hard enough to feed my child and house them, and then at Christmas is a whole nother bunch of pressure. And just to give them a nice thing with Santa and a gift and a meal, it just took that stress off me. You wouldn't believe how thankful I am. So, I didn't even know. And one time we gave a scholarship to a guy. His parents were poor. And I bump into him. What are you doing? I'm propulsion in NASA.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Propulsion in NASA. And I'm telling you, they were so poor, they didn't have kitchen cabinets. They had like beads over their kitchen cabinet. Because when I went in there, everybody goes, brace yourself. I had no idea. But, when I first started in the Optimist Club 20 years ago, I would constantly hear, I'm the first one to go to college. Yeah. And that's slowly disappearing, thank God. Even like we sort of like the trades, if you want to be a hairdresser. One guy wanted to go to car school. We gave a guy who was trying to get his pilot's license. You can use it for that. That's encouraged. So everything's going great. Money's there. We got new members. It's nice when you get new members. Things can get stale, and they have a different way of looking at it.
Yeah, new perspectives.
And somebody said, don't you think those pumpkins are a little big for those guys? I'm like, oh my God, I didn't notice. And then we get the smaller one, they're half the price.
Wow.
Yeah, the kids couldn't pick them up, and just another set of eyes on it, We got a lady named Mary in our club. Oh man, does she get the door prizes for us, man. Unbelievable. It makes it worthwhile.
So if people want to get involved in the community in some way, and they don't really know how to do that best with their expertise or with their connections, why is the Optimist Club a great place for them to land to really make a difference?
Well, you know what? My whole life at work, they were involved in the United Way. You give money, you don't know where it goes. And then one of the ladies was big in paws, the seeing eye dogs. So we said, okay, all the money there. Yeah, I never met a person that received money. I never received anybody that got a dog. So with this Optimist Club, what's cool is you can meet the essay winners or the horticultural winners. And I'm telling you, this girl Mary at Refuge, she's ready to go in a pageant. She did so well.
Wow.
And then, to read these resumes, what good kids they are, and hear from the guy was an intern at a hospital, and the doctor saying, this is the brightest kid I know, and he's going to go somewhere. And even when you see their handwriting, you got the most beautiful handwriting. Come in here, I got to meet you, So you get to shake the person's hand, and that's the difference. You get to say congratulations, where I never congratulated anybody there. And whatever. And you know what? Kegel's small, and I've been there 42 years. It's nice to see him at the restaurant and Dairy Queen and stuff. That's cool, too.
Of course.
So I can't believe how lucky I am to live in this community. Part of the West Bloomfield School District was #1, and I love living in Kegel with the lakes, and I didn't realize how lucky I was. I got my house on a trade. They needed my house to build a neighborhood on Walnut and Middle Belt, and I didn't realize how lucky I was to trade for a place in Kegel. And
it's a special community, and you know what? You don't see just how special it is until you give it an opportunity to shine. And wow, what a great example our kids are in showing just how interesting and how incredible of a community we have here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Bill, thank you so much for your insight.
All right, thanks for having me. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, a couple more events coming up for them in October, but always something going on in the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield, as well as in the Keego Harbor Optimist Club. Great ways to get involved in our community right here in Greater West Bloomfield. We'll keep getting involved here at the Greater West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House, Fire Station number 1 on Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield. Our coverage continues after this on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
Welcome back to our live coverage from Fire Station number 1. It's the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft. Joining me now from West Bloomfield Parks is Ashley Thornton, as they are one of the many different community organizations and vendors joining us from Fire Station number 1 today. And your partnership with the fire department runs deep with
Yes.
West Bloomfield Parks, as they help to arrange a lot of what you do all throughout the community all year long. Talk about that relationship and how it plays into everything that Parks is doing all across our community all year long.
Yes, we partner with them on most of our major events. They're always there. Their presence is well known. They do all of our events at any of our parks. We recently did some training with them this year as well, so we can get better being prepared in active situations and just knowing how to handle that. So we're on the same campus, which is great. We have good relationships with a lot of them over there, and so it's great to be here today to support their open house.
And as you talk about some of the training, it comes into factor today where we have so many different things that we need to be prepared for. It's not just fire, it's not just some medical emergency that may happen out at a concert or in Connect or at any of these other events we have out in the community. There are other threats that come into play too, and so I'd imagine as someone that's a day-to-day employee at a major organization in our community, having that relationship and that training makes it a more safe environment for you and your colleagues as well.
Yes, I agree. We had a lot of staff members asking for this training. It can deal with people having mental health issues, coming into our buildings, people in the parks that just might seem a little suspicious, and we've just learned how to handle those situations and de-escalate from time to time when necessary. And we also did walkthroughs of our splash pad due to the situation that was in Rochester Hills, how to be better prepared over there. Also did a walkthrough at our Connect Senior Center and at our Recreation Activity Center in Marshbank, where we have a lot of our major events. So knowing how to handle situations that may arise, no matter what it is, mental health, just first aid, an active shooter, which we never hope to have to deal with, but it's great to be prepared and know how to handle those.
And no better time than the present either, because we know that the relationship between Parks and the fire department is probably going to get a little closer over the next year or two as you get ready for really an exciting time, as the Recreation Activity Center is set to have a massive expansion and become home of Connect and so many other activities. As someone that's on the inside of the organization, what's the initial reaction been after the bond passed and now this is going to happen?
Yes. We were really excited with the bond passing, so we thank the residents of West Bloomfield for allowing that. We have a lot of preparation to do, trying just to figure everything out still in the beginning stages, but we're going to be glad to have everybody back on the same campus. And I was joking with someone earlier that we might have some of our staff over in their training room working while our building's under construction, but we're figuring everything out one step at a time, and it's going to be amazing in the end.
All these changes that are happening in our community and all these changes and upgrades within your organization, as the human resources manager, I'd imagine that only makes your organization more of an attractive place for people that are looking for a career change or looking to shift in their career in parks, and one of the premier organizations in Parks and Rec in all of Oakland County.
Yeah, it's been great. We recently had posted for a finance associate, so being able to let them know that they'll be working on this new bond and dealing with things on the back end and getting a new workplace essentially was a really good recruiting tool, and I think it's only going to be able to help us bring more people in, and they'll be able to be a part of this process with us as well.
And for people that are looking into joining your team, or people that have joined their team, it's all about identity, and it's about continuing that culture that's been so excellent for West Bloomfield Parks all these years. As someone that's on the forefront of the hiring and is in constant communication with leadership about what you're looking for in a team member, what makes the perfect person for the West Bloomfield Parks team?
I think the perfect person joining our team is someone who's laid back, open, wants a really good culture, and wants to get to know the team members like their family. We're super close over there. We all have good relationships with each other. You know, when something's going on in someone's life, you know what it is, and you're there to help them out. And so I think just being open-minded and looking for that positive relationship is what we look for. It's also a question in our interviews, you know, what's your perfect type of culture? What are you looking for? Because we want to make sure that it's a match. So knowing what they want and knowing what we're able to give our employees is super important.
And then that extends out to the community too, as we expect in this community to have a really friendly and fun experience when we go to Marshbank Park, or when we head over to the Connect Senior Center for all the things that are happening over there, or even these day-to-day things that ultimately spreads out to the community. And that's why West Bloomfield Parks plays such a big role in Greater West Bloomfield. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, as people come to and from your events, to and from your parks and other facilities, what is the hope of their takeaway when they leave at the end of the day?
I think we want our residents to come to these events and be able to make that connection with our team members. We want it to be a part of their lives, and you know, we want them to keep coming back to these events and enjoying themselves. So I think seeing here, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, we've been to that hayride, we've been to this event, and we want them to keep coming back and making sure that we make it the best experience that they can have. And we want to make sure that they're able to make those connections with our staff, because that's very important, and we're very outgoing. So being at those events and seeing everybody is just great for us, and we hope the community keeps coming back to all of the events.
The community hayrides, the trick-or-treat trail, so many other things happening in the fall with West Bloomfield Parks. You can keep up to date on all that they're doing and register to join in on the fun at wbparks.org. Ashley, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll take a break. More coming up from the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House next on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Bringing you stories and memories from Sylvan Lake. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Welcome back, and we thank you for tuning in to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft. We've had a great opportunity to learn so much today about all different areas of our community, first and foremost, of course, being the West Bloomfield Fire Department and all that they do every single day to keep us safe and keep us educated so that we can prevent tragedies and respond properly to emergencies right here in Greater West Bloomfield. If you're looking for more information outside of their once-a-year open house events, you can always follow them on Facebook at WB Fire Department and keep up to date with them also. Get in contact with their non-emergency number. Find that on wbtownship.org to get even more of your questions answered. You don't have to just wait until this single day in October every single year. If you have questions, they are willing to answer them and help you keep yourself, your family, and others in our community safe 365 days a year. I want to give a big thank you to our entire crew, Calvin Brown and Jake Schaff, helping me out today at Fire Station Number 1. And thank you, of course, for tuning in. From Fire Station Number 1, I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for watching and listening to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.